Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now today is one of those days, it's pretty much like a holiday. Whenever my favorite gear company comes out with a new product, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a holiday. So for me today, well, it's about the Tekko 6 sling bag. If you've been watching my channel, you've seen me cover the dendrite in prior reviews, but more specifically, it's probably made cameo appearances in a number of other videos, simply because this has become a very practical way for me to carry my gear, and most specifically, when I travel. This is such an awesome travel companion. I've been using it really for most of my flights, where I just want to have the basics with me, slide it in the seat in front of me, not have all kinds of crazy stuff clogging up my limited leg space. So having something like this where I simply can slide this on, get onto the plane, put everything in the compartment above, but have all those basic essentials with me, it's been absolutely fantastic. But it is limited in size, it's limited in capacity. It's been just a little bit tight, but I think this Tekko 6 is absolutely going to square me away. Coming from that sort of lineage and DNA from the dendrite, but growing in size, giving you a little bit more capability. And I think in today's video, you're gonna find there's probably a place for this for you. And so when we get back, we'll go through this in detail. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Vanquest who did provide this for review. And if you like what you see here today, do me a favor, look in the description box below where you can find your own Tekko 6 or any other Vanquest products. Anytime you use those links, they greatly help the channel. So if you like what you see here today, do me a favor and take a look in the description box below. And so as we work through the details here on the Tekko 6, now this is part of the Urban series. So Vanquest came out with a number of products in their Urban series a few years back. This certainly is part of it, and just a nice addition to that lineup. They have a number of great products that we've taken a look at in the past, and I expect no different. Now, the first thing you're going to notice, this is in the black multicam, which I am a huge fan of. Anytime I can get something in this particular pattern, I do prefer it. They also have it in solid black or shadow gray. Both of them are nice. I do like the black. I do also like the gray, but in my opinion, the multicam black is the way to go. Keeping in mind, this is right around 6 liters, should have reasonable capacity, and the reason why it's called Tekko, this actually does have the ability to leverage something like, say, for example, a Nintendo Switch, which should fit in here. My kids do play the Switch often, so maybe I'll give that a try. Ends up with a nice Horween leather patch on the front. They've kind of upgraded some of the fine details, and they have actually leveraged some new hardware this time around, like for example these swiveling clips. Inside here I do have the straps. I've packed this all up because I brought it back from Blade Show, so I do have everything in here. But as we take a look across the front, you can see nice generous Velcro field, so you do have the morale field. One thing that Vanquest always does an amazing job is with their hardware and their zippers. You'll notice the ruggedized and rubberized inverted zipper track here, nicely protected from the elements, and they always put some sort of a protection on their fabrics to make everything water resistant. But as we get into this here, opening up the front, again, there is going to be a lot of excellent capability and size here. They've tried to cut down on competition of space by opening things up, creating a nice large ability for things to pop out and protrude out in the front pocket versus going in towards the inside. And that's an important feature. But the first thing you're going to notice, that nice quality high vis interior. Easy in terms of the ability to see the items on the inside all the way down into the corners, nice and bright, and just a simple layout with some elasticized shock keepers in the front. Pretty straightforward, nice and open, and as you take a look underneath the top, you'll notice there is a little loop there to attach your keys or a clip or something like that. So good size pocket right on the front. flipping it around to the back. Now this is important. This for me is where I've always stashed my cash when I travel. So I love the fact that this is here. This is also kind of in a way potentially a CCW pocket, and on the Tekko it is going to be vastly larger than on the Dendrite. On the Dendrite, you could kind of get away with it, but it's not really the same. It's not Velcro lined. It's got that ripstop interior. It's also high vis, but in terms of your ability to CCW here, it is definitely smaller. So this for me was always my cash stash, and I would do the exact same here. Anything that's critical that I need to protect and absolutely protect, I put up against my body. But you'll notice this is Velcro lined on one side and then the ripstop material on the other. Spartan zipper pulls throughout on YKK zippers. So again, these are the Spartan zipper pulls you'll see labeled as Vanquest. Always nicely done. These can be looped together and they can also be locked if you need to. But more importantly, this does have the ability to actually leverage a lock. So something like your standard sort of airline grade and TSA rated locks can absolutely be used on this, which is fantastic and a nice addition. I love the fact that they do that with their hardware. Wrapping up on the outside, you'll see some lashing points, little molly, the ability to clip things to the bag. Every place that you can grab onto is reinforced. That's one thing that Vanquest absolutely stresses. If you can grab it, you will use it as a handle. So you'll notice that they reinforce everything fully bar or box stitched in many locations, and everything fully featured the way it needs to be. You'll notice that they do use branded Cordura fabric in this particular case, where it is the the factory, or I should say licensed multicam black. So that's another nice feature as we get into the main compartment in this bag. So this is huge, a large amount of storage. They end up with the tough mesh on the outside, which is an awesome ability to store, but also see what you have on the inside. Couple of loops to add to the overall capabilities, and of course a nice large pocket, also Velcro lined on one side. You can add little organizers, so if you have pouches or pockets or little organizers that leverage the Velcro backing, that is absolutely sweet. That's a big pocket there, fairly nice size, all things considered. You can see clearly it fits my entire hand, so a nice large pocket on that outside. And what I was saying before is, because of the shape of the outer pocket, this should push out, which then again allows you to fully utilize the pocket on the inside of the flap without that competition of space. So again, nicely laid out from that perspective. Subtle detail, but as you take a look, even the bottom here is lined in Velcro, so aids in the overall capabilities. You can actually leverage their dividers, which if I just grab one out of one of their packs, I should be able to basically fully line the bottom of this, and it will create an additionally protected layer on the bottom, so that if you have any sensitive gear, that's nicely protected, and you could definitely compartmentalize this even further. So again, Vanquest always thinking about those details, and they build literally everything to the premium factor with their gear. Velcro lined on the pocket, so that's a change. I've never quite seen this done on their packs before. Typically, like on the Dendrite, they're running that ripstop material, but instead in this particular case, switching it up and going with the Velcro, that's going to additionally add functionality, the ability to subdivide, put your pouches, put any sort of gear, or even little morale patches on the inside, which I do kind of like to do from time to time. So that is really cool. I love how they did that. You end up with the shock keepers across the front, and of course that gives you the ability to put your EDC tools, Leatherman, different things like that. Inside these pockets, again, very nicely laid out. You can see they're a good size. That should hold a reasonable size notebook, and certainly on both sides. Again, I am going to absolutely travel with this. So for me, I end up with actually a pretty good amount of stuff. I end up with computer chargers, headphones, gum, mints. I end up with my, credentials, my phone, phone chargers. I actually bring a small inflatable pillow so that I have it while I'm either working to rest my elbows on or leaning, up against, the window. So the fact that this is so large and has this awesome subdivided capability is absolutely sweet. Never mind the fact that you end up with the main pocket all the way in the back. Again, padded, so always padding where you need it to protect your gear, your sensitive items. And again, this will be certainly suitable for moderate, so small to moderate size electronics. Again, a couple of loops across the top and the ability to take this integral keeper and just move it around from location to location depending on your needs. And again, leveraging some new hardware. So new for VanQuest. Here you can see these ITW, or are these UTX? One or the other. These are UTX Duraflex buckles here, and these swivel. So very simple, the ability to clip these in, but once you do, they articulate and swivel, which is going to make this extremely comfortable, yet the quality you get from Duraflex, robust and stout at the same time. The added shoulder strap. So this is another addition that if you want to rock the shoulder strap will certainly aid in general comfort. Now for me, I probably will put this on actually. You have the ability to split this open. You can see here just leveraging that Velcro, get it put over and into place, and certainly use this in a number of different ways. But for me, it's pretty much going to live its life as a crossbody and again, give me the ability to use it for travel. Now, as you can see here, leveraging this as a crossbody, the first thing that I really am going to complain about, for me, I feel like this strap is too long. This is a quick adjustment strap, which is definitely cool. You have the ability to just take this handle, slide this out, and you can make this as long as you want. And that is crazy long, which is a good thing, I guess, but to me, I'm like, well, who's going to ever need this to be this long? But for me, I really want this as short as possible because I like to keep this super tight and right up against my chest. So the nice thing is this is super fast to adjust, and I can bring this literally while I'm wearing it right back to what I believe is its shortest ability, which at this point you can see bringing this all the way up basically to that logo. And at this point, this is as tight as I can make it. So that's the shortest it will go. But I really want to wear this nice and tight right here, crossbody. And there is just too much strap. So for me, I am a little bit bummed out because I don't want this down and low. That's going to get in the way and bang into things. When I'm traveling or when I'm moving about, I want this nice and tight, sucked up to my chest. I get that full range of motion with my arms. That's not going anywhere. It's tight, it's secure. And if I set this up the right way for my CCW, which is another awesome use for this, I could have this right here, again, firm and tight. Get my zippers where I need them, and real quick, rip that open, and then get to my firearm and draw. But for me, this is going to be kind of flopping around a little bit and not quite as tight as I would like. Whereas if you take a look at the Dendrite, and it's hard to say exactly how I have this set up right now, but I believe it's going to be just a little bit tighter. Which, yes, without anything in it, you can see already. This is riding up on my chest. It's out of the way. I have the ability to maneuver, do what I need to. My arms aren't rubbing or banging into this, and it is very controlled. So, unfortunately for me, and in my opinion, in the way that I tend to wear these types of things, the strap is just simply too long, and the fact that it goes so crazy long is not an advantage, and especially at the disadvantage of how short this doesn't go. But that doesn't take away from the overall usefulness of this. It's just an observation. So for me, where this is literally as tight as it could possibly go, I could feel pretty confident in putting the shoulder strap on here I probably will never adjust this beyond what it already is. So in reality, I'll probably just get this placed on here. That will aid in the protection of my shoulders, aid in the overall general comfort. Actually, slightly, but barely tighten up on this just a tiny bit, and that gives me something on my shoulders. In reality, this is going to run more like a messenger bag for me than it is going to be a crossbody or a chest rig. But regardless, definitely nicely made. And so for me, this definitely falls in the category of essentials. It falls in the category of travel essentials, EDC, and the ability to manage your gear easily, effectively, and it really does cut down, in my opinion, in bulk that you have around your seat, especially if you're flying or you want to maintain that legroom. I love the idea that you can put all your essentials in here, keep them tight, put everything else up and above, and just have this simple little thing with you. Not to mention when you're taking off and landing, well, it's kind of nice having this strapped onto you just in case shit hits the fan. You got some of those basic essentials while you're scrambling around. So ultimately, what are the cons? Unfortunately, that strap just doesn't do it for me. I think that's an easy fix. I mean, maybe I could fashion this up in a different way. I like the fact that there's the quick disconnect, so maybe in the future, if VanQuest was interested, they could provide a second length of the strap. I think that would certainly be useful for guys like me that want to run this super tight and high up on the body. That's in a way essential. I know they're talking about other potential ideas where they could make other adapters to clip this onto other packs. That would be absolutely awesome as a chest rig. I could put binoculars in here, and especially with the ability to use those padded dividers, you could make this into a really sick hunting kit with ease. But all in all, that's the Tekko 6. Again, thank you very much to the people at VanQuest for providing this for review. If you guys like what you see here today, look in the description box below where you can get all of the relevant links. Again, whenever you use those, it greatly helps the channel, and so thank you very much. And if you like what you see here, do me a favor, take a look at my OUTER LIMITLESS 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearm side of things. At this point, the channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there, so if you like what you see here on OUTER LIMITLESS, do me a favor and check me out on OUTER LIMITLESS 2. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.